Good morning, everybody. I want to begin by wishing all the moms in our great community a happy Mother's Day. This time honored tradition, although it has been somewhat commercialized over the last few decades, in my mind it's meant to be a reminder for all of us to take some time to pause all the hustle and bustle, pause all the whining and complaining and taking for granted, and really acknowledge how much the mom in your life means to you. Moms, you fill a void that cannot possibly be filled by anything else, and for that, we thank you. This month we have many updates to discuss, but before we begin, I want to take a moment to share a few interesting facts about our community. Our community has 1,276 lots. Now, if we assume an average of around 4 people in each house, that comes to about 5,104 members. We have approximately 4 to 5 miles worth of common space, which we're responsible to maintain. We have 2 pools, a splash park, walking trails, common lots, green spaces, and more. We also share common space with Frisco ISD, the City of Frisco, businesses, and even adjacent communities. Although we were incorporated in 2005, we were only completely built out within the last few years. There are parts of our community which are now 15 years old and other parts which are still relatively new. I say this hopefully to offer a little perspective about our community makeup. In short, our community is large. We have many complex issues which need to be addressed. And with only 4 people on the board and only 2 homeowners engaged in a committee, we can only do so much. I want to let that sink in though for a moment. Out of a community of more than 5,000 people, presumably 2,500 adults, right? Only 6 people, 6, are willing to take time and do what is needed to help with their own community. Now, I hope you're all asking yourselves, how can I help? What can I do that doesn't require a lot of time? Well, have you ever heard of the phrase divide and conquer? The more of you that we have engaged in helping out, the less time it will take and the less effort it will take to get things done. So here's what we need right now. We have one open board position. The person who will fill this position must be willing and able to meet in the evenings via Zoom for official meetings, must be able to download the Voxer app and stay up to speed on all board communications, and must be able to read the bylaws and CC&Rs and guidelines and understand them. If you're interested, please send us an email. We will be closing the window for submitting your interest in that position pretty soon, and then we'll be voting at the next meeting to appoint a board person. We need at least 3 to 5 people to volunteer for the beautification committee. These folks will not only be in charge of the yard of the month, but will also help consult with the board on the common area landscaping with all the dead bushes we have. Super important committee. We're also looking for at least 3 to 5 people to volunteer for a special committee to address the whole Atmos situation. These people should have some type of relevant experience or expertise that would add value to the conversation. We are looking for 3 to 5 people to form a committee to review the arbor's design guidelines. If you live on the arbor side and you've read the guidelines, I'm sure that you might have some questions about some of the items that are in the design guidelines. We're looking to form a committee to review the entire document to see if there's any areas that need to be clarified. Number 5, we're looking for 3 to 5 people to volunteer for a photography committee. These folks would be tapped to do what they love to do, which is to take pictures and video of our community and events and share it on our social media pages. We're also looking for at least 5 people to volunteer for the social events committee to help plan events throughout the year. We have a long list of great ideas already floating around, and we want to convert these ideas into plans and then action. And we're also looking for 3 to 5 people to form a welcoming committee. This is a critical job that helps all new homeowners in our community to become oriented to the community and the HOA. New homeowners need help to know where to go for what. This is a super important job. So as you can see, there are plenty of opportunities for you to be involved and to help out. We welcome all who are interested in volunteering. You should also know that none of the functions produced by any of these committees is offered by Real Manage. If we want our community to be the shining beacon in Frisco, then we need to make it happen. All right, quick rundown of updates. Pools. The pools are now open, and we did expect there to be a hiccup, and of course, we had a hiccup. One of the pools had an issue with one of the bathrooms, which had to be fixed before we could legally open the pools. That's already being worked on, and starting next week, we should be good to go on all the pools. We will also be restricting access on the key cards to only those who have signed and turned in their pool waiver. You can download the pool waiver from Ciranet, or you can email villawb@ciramel.com and request one. And yes, you can scan and email it back. Common areas. We are in correspondence with members of the city, trying to obtain clarification on a number of questions we have about all the dead bushes in the common areas. Suffice it to say that it would be extremely expensive to replace all the bushes as is. Multiple ideas are being floated around, but nothing has been decided or finalized. ACC Committee. Let this be your reminder. You must obtain approval from the ACC Committee prior to starting your project. It is your responsibility to read and understand the bylaws, the CC&Rs, and the design requirements prior to starting your project. It is not the contractor's job to know. Do not take their word for it. Here are some best practices based on what we have seen recently. Always include the ACC form. If you forget to attach it, your request will be denied. Be as detailed as you can be so the committee understands what it is you're trying to do. And please check your grammar and typos, because if your request is unclear or difficult for us to understand what you're doing, it will be declined. If you are replacing a fence, you must include a plot plan indicating where the old fence was and where the new fence will be. And don't forget to include the stain color. The CC&Rs say it must be in the brown family. If you're adding any type of structure outside of your home, you must include a plot plan indicating where that work will be. If you don't attach the plot plan, the request will be denied. Always think through your project and do your own research. Do not take your neighbor's word for it or the contractor's word for it. Educate yourself and save yourself added expense. All right, Atmos. The board recently had a strategy session to discuss next steps on the proposed station by Atmos. We have compiled a list of initial information gathering, clarifying questions for our legal counsel, and we will be submitting those today. Today is first week of May here, Monday, and we're going to be waiting for their response before we take any other steps. We would also like to form a committee of at least 3 to 5 homeowners to help advise on the matter. Please submit your interest to Villa WB, indicating your name and address, and as we shared in the fact sheet, please provide some information on how you can help out on this committee. All right, communication. When Tom and I first joined the board, we both felt that the HOA needed to increase its presence online via social media, etc., as it can only help with keeping the community apprised of news and events, but also help generate interest in getting everyone involved in HOA activities. Tom and I have worked very hard for the last 5 months to get organized and up to speed on how to improve transparency and communication. We're also working with the rest of the board members, VJ and Carlos, who are also working very hard. While these video updates are just one aspect of that, we also try to be responsive on social media to the extent that we can. It is important for homeowners to understand that board members must be very careful to not make promises or give the impression that they're acting on behalf of the board. So if you feel like our responses are somewhat generic, it's because there's only so much we can say outside of an official meeting setting. In addition, Tom and I and the other board members simply do not have the time between working 50 to 60-hour work weeks for our careers and handling all the complex issues of our HOA. We simply don't have the time to respond to every HOA related post or comment. If you have questions about what is going on, we urge you to attend the monthly board meetings. Now that they're through Zoom, members should find it much easier to attend and to be informed. Lastly, we respectfully request that homeowners afford the board the same level of respect and decorum as they would expect from us. After all, we live in the neighborhood. We receive no compensation at all for the work that we do, and we're taking hours away from our families each week to accomplish a lot for our community. VJ, Carlos, and I are working hard to turn things around for the HOA. We're implementing business continuity processes with the implementation of Office 365. We're documenting procedures where procedures are completely missing. We're auditing financials and expenses each month and asking thorough questions of RealManage. We're reevaluating all major vendor contracts to ensure that we're getting the best bang for our buck. We're also looking for ways to partner with the city more, and we're always looking for best practices and better ways of doing things. And above all, we would love to see more engagement and involvement from the community. We hope to see you at the next meeting, and until then, we're here to help. You can always get a hold of us through Villa WB at Siramail, or you can send us a private message on the Facebook page. Thank you again for being a part of our community. We'll see you at the next meeting.